Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, the galaxy of intellectuals, scholars, faculty members, and students. Assalamu alaikum. I'm Iraj Faruqi, the student of BS final year at the Department of International Relations, University of Karachi. On behalf of Department of International Relations, University of Karachi, and Konrad-Adenauer-Stiftung Political Foundation, I cordially welcome you all to the two-day international conference on South Asia and regional connectivity in 21st century. It's an honor for me to stand before such esteemed individuals who have gathered here to discuss the importance of regional connectivity in South Asian region. We live in an age where the world is more interconnected than ever before. In this era of globalization, regional connectivity plays a vital role in fostering economic growth, social development, and culture exchange. South Asia, with its diverse history, culture, and economies, hold immense potential for regional connectivity to flourish and thrive. So as we delve into this two-day international conference, I'm delighted to share that we have an exciting lineup of keynotes, speeches, panel discussion, and interactive sessions that will explore the various facets of regional connectivity. I hope you all will take the full advantage of this opportunity to learn, connect, and have some pleasure. So without further ado, let's begin the conference. Let me take the honor to invite our prestigious guest of the session with a request to come on the position and occupy the distinguished chair. It's my acute pleasure to invite Professor Dr. Khalid Mahmood Iraqi, Vice Chancellor, University of Karachi, Professor Dr. Shaista Tabassum, Dean Faculty of Art and Social Sciences, His Excellency Andrea Wagner, Mr. Ahmed Rashid, Dr. Naeem Ahmed, and Dr. Ellinor Zeino. Now, I would like to call the students of MA final year, Mr. Asfand Yar, to commence this conference with a sublime recitation of the verses from the Holy Quran.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم والعاديات ضبحا فالموريات قدحا فالمغيرات سبحا فأثرن به نقعا فوسطن به جمعا إن الإنسان لربه لكنود وإنه على ذلك لشهيد وإنه لحب الخير لشديد أفلا يعلم إذا بعثر ما في القبور وحصل ما في الصدور إن ربهم بهم يومئذ لخبير صدق الله العظيم.
Subhanallah. Now with a great pleasure, I cordially welcome Dr. Naeem Ahmed, Chairman, Department International Relations, University of Karachi, to deliver a welcome address and formally start the program.
Thank you, Iraj. Um, Honorable Vice Chancellor, Professor Dr. Khalid Mehmood Iraqi Sahab, respected Dean, Faculty of Arts and Social Sciences, Karachi University, Professor Dr. Shaista Tabassum, uh, Ahmad Rashid, renowned author and foreign policy expert, Dr. Ellinor Zeino, Regional Representative, Konrad-Adenauer-Stiftung, scholars uh, who have come from abroad and across the country, colleagues, students, ladies and gentlemen, a very good morning. Let me first welcome you all to this 2 days international conference entitled South Asia Regional and the Regional Connectivity in 21st Century, organized by the Department of International Relations, University of Karachi in collaboration with the Konrad-Adenauer-Stiftung. Ladies and gentlemen, the objective behind organizing this conference is to discuss and analyze the idea of regional connectivity in South Asia amid a range of security dilemmas that have hindered the prospects of peace, cooperation and connectivity in the region. As we know that the end of Cold War has left the world with many unanswered questions, along with emerging issues which compelled the scholars of international relations to come up with new theoretical frameworks and address those issues systematically and scientifically. Further, the changing scenario in the post-Cold War era also demanded the scholars of international relations to re-examine the international political system, especially with reference to regional security concerns and prospects of regional economic cooperation. I believe that the link between geography and anarchy in the existing international system has facilitated the rise of regional security complexes, whereby geographically adjacent states are bound within a distinct regional dynamic, whether it is conflict or cooperation. Interestingly, the realist conceptions of security are still dominating international politics, yet call for cooperation from the liberals is also seriously taken by the states to abandon some of their sovereignty and independence and focus on pluralist worldview of interdependence and cooperation, while assuming that the interdependent cobweb contains a multiplicity of non-state actors as well as the traditional nation states. In this perspective, the security parameters are said to be less about the standards of self-help and more about the principles of well-being, peace and cooperation. However, if we look at South Asia, one may argue that the insecurities suffered by the South Asian states, especially India and Pakistan, during the Cold War era have remained unchanged in the post-Cold War period, even after the 9/11 as well. The major regional states, India, Pakistan, as well as Afghanistan, have been locked into interstate conflicts which have engulfed most of the resources of the region and still have the capacity to absorb the rest. Today, the region has become a hotbed of global rivalry between the rising and existing powers, China and the United States. An already complex political and strategic scenario of the region has further complicated with the interstate realignments at the regional and global level, which have largely impacted the dynamics of the regional and international security, especially the growing India-US close ties in order to counter the Chinese influence at the regional and the global level. China's rise and as a result, a challenge to the US dominance has given rise to a new balance of power situation in the international political system where China is now challenging the rules of the game set by the United States and the West. Although China does not pose an immediate military threat to the United States, however, its growing economic, political and military power have largely challenged the United States' hegemony. In my opinion, China is satisfied as long as the United States has one China policy. China does not want to disturb this equation with the United States of America. Ladies and gentlemen, the regional integration, which focuses upon the concept of shared opportunities for all, where the development and progress are mutually benefited by all, is the need of the day. It's the fact that The Belt and Road Initiative and its flagship project CPEC have increased the prospects of regional connectivity and economic cooperation in the South Asian region and beyond. The BRI covers around 70 countries while targeting 65% of the world population and covers around 40% of the global GDP. South Asia has a great potential of regional integration, where trade can be a basic factor in mitigating hostilities and ensuring regional connectivity. Therefore, there is a need for increased dialogue and trust building between the countries in the region, as well as a greater willingness to prioritize economic development and regional connectivity over traditional security concerns. Ladies and gentlemen, let me also shed some light on department's activities. The department has a repute of academic excellence. This year we have organized around 6 seminars and workshops on different themes. Recently, we have updated our whole syllabus and introduced new courses such as maritime diplomacy, countering violent extremism, traditional and non-traditional security, and also history and politics of Pakistan. We have recently launched a research journal named Journal of International Studies. The first issue will be out in next year, March. Although department launched its first biannual research journal with the name Pakistan Journal of International Relations in 2008, but due to financial constraints, the journal could not continue. Now with new ambitions and goals, the department has launched this new journal. The department has also signed an MOU with National Institute of Maritime Affairs, NIMA, and intended to organize various academic programs with them in the coming semester. Our students have got various internships in various institutes such as Islamic Chamber of Commerce, CIS, and various consulates. In the end, I must thank all the speakers for accepting our invitation, also the Vice Chancellor, the Dean, Professor Dr. Shaista Tabassum, for their marvelous support to this conference. Moreover, I am highly thankful to my faculty members, especially the young teaching associates, Yasir, Haris, Amir, Irfan, and students in various committees, various organizing committees for their relentless assistance to make this event happen. Moreover, I am also thankful to the Konrad-Adenauer-Stiftung for providing funds for this conference. I also appreciate the cooperation which Dr. Ellinor and her teammate Murtaza has extended to organize this conference. One of the unique features of this conference is that most of the sessions are being chaired by our former chairpersons, and they will be here in the working sessions. Lastly, we look forward to listening to our esteemed speakers in these 2-day deliberations and hope that the papers which will be presented not only will strengthen the theoretical foundations of our students and generate healthy debate in the society, but also the suggestions and recommendations which will be made will help policymakers formulate long-term effective policies. Thank you all.
Thank you so much, Dr. Naeem Ahmed. Your words were an absolute highlight of the event. Thank you for enlightening us. Now please extend a warm greetings to our distinguished guest, Dr. Ellinor Zeino, Regional Representative, Konrad-Adenauer-Stiftung, a political foundation, who will be making her welcome comments. Indeed, her words will resonate with us all.
Thank you very much. Excellencies, Honorable Vice Chancellor, Honorable Dean, Dr. Shaista Tabassum, Honorable Chairperson, Dr. Naeem, dear guests from Pakistan and abroad, dear students and scholars. It is an honor and pleasure being here in Karachi with you for the first joint conference on regional connectivity in South Asia. First of all, I'd like to extend my sincere thanks to the University of Karachi and Dr. Shaista Tabassum, Dr. Naeem Ahmed, and his team from Karachi University, who have done a tremendous effort and job to make today's event possible. Thank you. I thank our national as well as our international guests for having accepted our invitation and who have traveled to Karachi or join us online. And I'm pleased also to welcome speakers and guests from different countries, such as from Nepal, from Kazakhstan, Uzbekistan, China, Afghanistan, Bangladesh, and Germany. We have chosen the theme of regional connectivity in South Asia because I believe that in times of re-emerging conflicts and impact of climate change or migration, constructive regional connectivity can help to find meaningful solutions and tangible solutions to cross-border challenges. And I think the port city of Karachi symbolizes regional connectivity and is predestined for such an event. So let me tell you something about Konrad-Adenauer Foundation. Konrad-Adenauer Foundation is one of the leading German political foundations, which is mandated by the German parliament and funded by the German government. And it strives to build political dialogue and bridges and maintains an international network in the field of politics, diplomacy, energy, sustainable development, or research and education. We have more than 100 offices and representations around the world. We had an office in Pakistan that we want to reopen in the next year, hopefully. German foreign policy has for a long time considered South Asia as an Anglo-American sphere of influence and has maintained, I must say, a quite narrow development-focused approach. Today, slowly but steadily, South Asia and the Indo-Pacific region becomes an important and integral part of our foreign, economic, climate and security policy. The activities of Konrad-Adenauer Foundation would like to reflect this diversification of relations. Last week I just attended a conference in Berlin in which the German defense minister made some very interesting points. He said that Germany must do more to promote peace and stability in the Indo-Pacific because the more the security risk in the Indo-Pacific tie up US resources, the less reliable the US security umbrella becomes for Europe. I think that was an interesting link, but I would like to make one point at this stage. Regardless of geostrategic considerations, I think that Pakistan needs more voice and visibility in the European capitals, be it in Brussels or in Berlin, as well as among European academia and research institutions. And I think events like this is a small starting point to give Pakistan a little bit more visibility, to give it more relevance, and also to help each other sides to understand each other's perspectives and get a more nuanced understanding of our concerns. We have just realized yesterday that many international guests among us come from landlocked countries, so I'm pleased to give them a warm welcome to the seaport of Karachi, and I think this is how regional connectivity starts and begins. I thank you very much. I wish you 2 days of enriching and extensive debate and dialogue and networking, and I look forward to our discussions. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Ellinor Zeino, for sharing wisdom with us all. Please extend warm welcome to Dr. Shaista Tabassum, Dean Faculty of Arts and Social Sciences, to address us all and captivate us with her profound insight.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Honorable Vice Chancellor, Dr. Khalid Mahmood Iraqi Sahab, Ahmed Rashid Sahab, Dr. Naeem Ahmed, Ellinor Zeino, faculty members, representatives and speakers from all over the world almost, and students. It's indeed an honor to stand before this distinguished gathering of learned minds to address a topic of paramount significance in our contemporary world, the nexus between South Asia and regional connectivity in the 21st century. And as we navigate the complexities of the globalized era, the role of South Asia and its interconnectivity becomes a focal point for both scholarly exploration and practical policy consideration. South Asia, with its diverse cultures, histories, and economies, stands at the crossroads of immense potential and pressing challenges. And if you go deep into the themes of the regional connectivity, we recognize that the 21st century is characterized with unprecedented interdependence among nations. The ability of countries to develop meaningful connection and collaboration transcends mere geographical proximity. It's the cornerstone upon which the edifice of progress is built. In this context, regional connectivity assumes a multifaceted dimension which includes economic, social, and political sphere. Economically, the integration of South Asian nations hold the promise of unlocking new avenues for growth and development. Enhanced trade routes, infrastructure networks, and shared economic policies can propel the entire region towards more prosperity. South Asia is a complex setup where the prime feature is its conflict and cooperation dichotomy that shapes the region's trajectory. Historical animosities at times hinders collaboration, yet shared challenges of the 21st century necessitate a revaluation of the priorities. China's rise as an economic powerhouse has transformed the global economic landscape, and in particular has significant implications for South Asia. The Belt and Road initiatives with projects like the CPAC, the China-Pakistan Economic Corridor, has the potential to reshape the regional connectivity. It not only provides economic opportunities but also sparks debate about sovereignty, climatic issues, the environmental impact, and the long-term implications for regional power dynamics. The security challenges posed by Afghanistan underscores the interconnectedness of the regional security and connectivity. The instability in Afghanistan presents a challenge that requires a collective response, emphasize the delicate balance between security imperatives and promotion of connectivity of shared prosperity. Connectivity with the climatic problems, as we are all aware that South Asia is and especially Pakistan is facing the most severe climatic challenges at the moment. And there is a need of some kind of connectivity in this particular area as well. Moreover, the global power rivalries, they have long overshadowed the regional connectivity, and the influence of the major power in South Asia can either foster or hinder the existing relationship, rather escalate the existing tensions. One cannot discuss regional connectivity without addressing the pivotal role of technology in the 21st century. The digital revolution has reduced traditional barriers, offering new avenues for communication, collaboration, and innovation. So embracing technology advancement can also accelerate regional integration. However, the path to comprehensive connectivity is full of challenges. It requires a delicate balance between national interests and regional cooperation, between historical grievances and shared vision for the future. And as scholars and intellectuals, it's our responsibility to engage in rigorous research and foster informed debate and contribute to the formulation of policies. In the end, I must appreciate the statement which is given by Ellinor Zeino, that is Pakistan required to have some visibility in the European capitals. And I consider it as a very encouraging remark, at least at this moment when Pakistan is facing sort of limitation and isolation. I must appreciate. In the end, my presentation cannot be completed without appreciating the effort that has been made by Dr. Naeem in arranging this conference. Most of the work has been done by Dr. Naeem, and I am sure that in the future he will continue to perform well like that. And over the year, we have developed an excellent team of supporters, and it reminds me of the day when we were the part of a team of our seniors, and now we have also developed a very good and active team who have been very active and moving around. You can see them, so a big applause required to be for them as well. And finally, I must thank you, the Konrad-Adenauer-Stiftung organization, for providing generous fund in arranging this conference. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Shaista Tabassum. We cannot thank you enough for your engaging and thought-provoking words. Now, I invite our esteemed guest and keynote speaker, Mr. Ahmed Rashid, whose extensive expertise makes his insight highly valuable, and we are honored to have you share them with our attendees. Mr. Ahmed Rashid is a renowned writer, commentator on Pakistan, Afghanistan, and Central Asia since 1980. He has written 5 books, including Taliban and Descent into Chaos, which has been translated into 40 languages and won numerous prizes. Mr. Rashid has been involved in human rights movements and peace building in Afghanistan, including Geneva Process and UN-led efforts to end civil war between the Taliban and Northern Alliance. He serves on the board of a New York Committee to Protect Journalists and International Committee of the Red Cross. Sir, please do the honors.
Hello. Can you hear me? Right. My name is Ahmed Rashid, by the way, not Rashid. And but let me just say very briefly, it's a great honor to be here. I want to thank Karachi University and Konrad-Adenauer for organizing this and inviting me, which is a high-risk proposition because I don't necessarily give in my talks the government points of view. So I hope you will be patient and hear me out, and I hope there will be some discussion after this session is over. So you'll be hearing a lot about connectivity, which is the buzzword in Islamabad, is a buzzword in the international community, the UN, and it's a reality because for the first time Pakistan has the opportunity of carrying out infrastructure projects with China, with Iran, with the Afghan states, and such an opportunity never arose before. So clearly we should take advantage of this. But can we, the question I pose is that can we have connectivity when you consider all your neighbors as a threat and a danger, and in many instances you seek to undermine them all the time? Can you take advantage of connectivity when you don't pursue a policy based on trade, improving economic relations, and building up close economic ties? What we really want to see is a paradigm shift in Pakistan's foreign policy, and the importance Pakistan gives to, say, arming and supporting extremist groups who might be anti-India but then wreak havoc in Pakistan itself. Or do we support a genuine policy of trade and improved relations? Now, the idea of connectivity, we didn't struggle for it. It fell into our lap with the collapse of the Soviet Union. There were drastic changes in the region, and for the first time we saw the emergence of 5 new states in Central Asia who were bereft because the Soviet Union had abandoned them, and they had no idea how to run statecraft, They had no idea which friends, who should be their friends and who their enemies. And Sardar Asif Ali, the Minister of State in the first Benazir Bhutto government, took me along with him, and we arrived in Central Asia. Nobody had been there since the collapse, which had happened a few weeks before. And every leader in Central Asia embraced Pakistan and said, we want you to build our connectivity, our industries, connect us to so-and-so. And we suddenly became the linchpin of the activities of Central Asia. And this was when connectivity was at its height. But unfortunately, the powers that be in Islamabad, or Pindi shall I say, took wrong decisions. They took the decisions again of fostering the Taliban was more important than building up ties and links with Central Asia. We had 3 flights a week going to 3 cities in Central Asia. Anybody wanting to visit Central Asia had to come through Pakistan. There were at that time no flights going between Europe and Central Asia. We were in a hugely advantageous position, and yet we tended to ignore it and re-establish our priorities, which were dealing with Afghanistan, dealing with India. We didn't want to take the plunge and see that we had hit upon a gold mine, potentially, which was Central Asia and trade with Central Asia. Now, there were also advantages in Afghanistan. There was the prospect which we sold to the Taliban of a huge pipeline carrying gas from Turkmenistan, which would enter Pakistan and cross over into India. And this would be a huge win-win situation for Pakistan, because we would be taking money for the passage of this gas, not to speak of using the gas ourselves when we were running out of Sui gas, etc. So there was a potential there. But what we also failed to do was to bring peace to Afghanistan. We were asking all the big oil companies to come and exploit this gas, build pipelines, and exploit this gas in a state of war. We weren't giving up the state of war with the Northern Alliance. There was a civil war in Afghanistan between the Taliban and the non-Pashtun minority nationalities, the Tajiks, Uzbeks, Hazaras and others. And we wanted to pursue the war, and we wanted to pursue a future with the promise of connectivity and be able to exploit this in an economic way. Well, you can't do both. You couldn't do both. You can't fight armed extremists at the cost of trade and economic ties. You need peace to develop economic plans. Look at the backfire with TTP that we are suffering from now. We need to end conflict and end war before we can develop economic plans. Nobody is going to take you seriously. And the Americans, who were very interested in this pipeline, and Unicol, if you remember, I wrote a book about it. Unicol came in and decided to try and exploit this oil conundrum and extract oil from Afghanistan and gas. They were very quickly put off when the security situation deteriorated. And more recently, I come to China. China has enormous interest and strategic interest in partnering with Pakistan in Afghanistan. With China, we should be building up very close ties, but ties that should be based on what China wants. China doesn't want a confrontation and a war with the Taliban. China wants peace so that they can exploit oil and minerals and all the rest of it. So until we are prepared to, make peace, I give you one instance of Balochistan. Much of our wealth still lies in the mountains and deserts of Balochistan. We've not been able to exploit it. There have been, for the last 40, 50 years, there have been one insurgency after another in Balochistan. The state has never sought reason to compromise with the Baloch. Give the Baloch a decent share of the gas. Don't treat them like you treated them with sui gas. When gas was made in Punjab, sold in Punjab, but it was ignored. Balochistan didn't have access to gas. So if making peace is a paramount part of our strategy, we should also understand that if we want to exploit the gas, we have to come to some kind of compromise with the Baloch. And the same goes for the Pashtun tribes in Fatah and elsewhere. They come with a different ideology. The Baloch are pursuing a nationalist ideology, which is difficult to crack. But the extremists, in my opinion, are isolated because most Pakistanis don't want the kind of extremist regime that the Pakistani Taliban, the TTP, are pursuing. So we have to change the paradigm of our relationship with the minorities in Pakistan and beyond Pakistan. And until we do that, we're not going to be able to exploit the oil and gas. Now, India with South Asia, I think, I often say that, how can we pursue a policy in South Asia which ignores the third biggest economic power in the world? Here we are sitting at the doorstep of India, and yet here we are without any trade. India refuses to trade with us, which is a recent phenomenon, and we don't seem to have the power or the clout to be able to convince India that they need to trade with us. And nor are we really in a position to tell India that we are prepared to abandon militarism and trade with you. All this becomes incredibly important when we see the advances that India is making in terms of expanding its export base and developing its agriculture, and we are still trapped in selling cotton and sports goods from Sialkot, goods that were relevant 50 years ago but are no longer relevant today. And we're not even allowing the private sector to properly flourish. So I hope we can change the paradigm of our thinking on India and believe that we can work with them. Now, unfortunately, we wasted so many years with a far more liberal and decent government than the present Indian government, which is very difficult to deal with, and which is very hardline and is determined to push Pakistan out of any kind of strategic picture in the region. And we can blame India for this and the BJP and Mr. Modi, but we can also blame ourselves for wasting so much time confronting India, whether it was Siachen or whether it was elsewhere. Instead of building up this connectivity, which India desperately wants also. India is in desperate need of new markets for its goods. It wants to trade with Afghanistan. It wants to trade with Central Asia. And now they have taken steps to undercut Pakistan because they have opened up their own trade route through Chabahar, the Iranian port on the Gulf, which is in direct confrontation with Gwadar. And they have opened up Iran, India are shipping goods to Chabahar and then using a newly built railway to ship them into Central Asia. It's a long way round, it's an expensive way round, but as far as the Indians are concerned, they avoid Pakistan. And they will cut their own deal with the Taliban, which they're doing. So it's not that by ignoring India and leaving India on the sidelines, India will just disappear. India has come back, unfortunately, in a big way, and using alternative routes and using alternative means and methods to undermine Pakistan and to strengthen their own position in Central Asia. So connectivity, if I'll just end here now, connectivity. is all about not just connecting, but building an environment in which connecting becomes vitally important. And that environment we still have to build. And a lot of that building of that environment depends on Pakistan. We can't ignore our responsibilities, whether it is to the Baloch or to the minority groups or to external factors. I hope this a conference like this is going to help change the thinking of our important scholars and insist that we need an opening in Central Asia and we need to pursue it with far more common sense than we've applied so far. Thank you very much.
Your words were the compelling reminder of the topic. Thank you so much for sharing your perspective with us. I would like to invite our distinguished guest whose presence brings added significance to this event, His Excellency Andrea Wagner, Counsel and Deputy Head of Mission of the German Consulate General Karachi, to please come and enlighten us with his thoughts.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much for having me, us. It's an honor to be here. I was already listening the first 10 minutes and the depth of the assessment is impressive. I would like to focus on the tools we are using. I would like to ask you a question. Are we ready for diplomacy generated by artificial intelligence? AI has been commonly defined as a system's ability to correctly interpret external data, to learn from such data, and to use those learnings to achieve specific goals and tasks through flexible adaptation. Well, this is very theoretical. This is the definition. The world of diplomacy, one of humanity's oldest professions, stemming from tribal necessities, is not immune to the winds of change. Global movements are reimagining incentives for peacemaking, and new technologies are poised to revolutionize the peacemaking process, from the initial stages of negotiations to the monitoring and enforcement of agreements. For instance, advances in artificial intelligence, quantum computing, the Internet of Things, and distributed ledger technology hold immense potential for peacemaking. These emerging technologies offer a wealth of new tools and techniques that can be applied to every aspect of the peacemaking process, from conflict resolution to post-conflict reconstruction. The adoption of new technologies will undoubtedly reshape the landscape of diplomacy, offering a more effective and sustainable approach to resolving conflict and fostering peace around the world. Let me give you some key takeaways for that. Digital diplomacy has revolutionized the way international relations are conducted. Digital tools and platforms have expanded the reach and impact of diplomacy. Diplomats need to adapt and acquire new skills to excel in the digital age. Digital diplomacy presents both opportunities and challenges for diplomats. Two countries at war, Ukraine and Israel, have demonstrated resilience and resourcefulness in utilizing emerging technologies such as drones and artificial intelligence to defend themselves. However, beyond defeat, diplomacy will be ending those conflicts. While the wars have spurred innovative approaches to warfare, diplomatic methods have not kept pace. They are still relying on 20th century tactics at best, if not 19th century. Digital diplomacy embraces the utilization of digital tools, platforms, and social media channels to conduct diplomatic activities. By leveraging these digital avenues, diplomats can expand their reach and influence beyond traditional boundaries. Engaging with a wider audience that encompasses citizens, non-state actors, fellow diplomats, all in real time. The paradigm shift in diplomacy presents both remarkable opportunities and formidable challenges, demanding that diplomats, us, adapt and acquire new skills to remain effective in their roles. Emerging technologies have the potential to revolutionize the field of diplomacy, as I said before, making it more efficient, effective, and transparent. These technologies can play a role in every aspect of peacemaking processes, from negotiations to monitoring and enforcement of agreements. Let me add a few examples. Very simple one. Automated language processing tools can help to smooth negotiations by reducing the time spent on consecutive interpretation. AI can also be used to provide diplomats with real-time information and analysis, helping them to better prepare for negotiations. Distributed ledger technology can ensure transparency and accountability in the implementation of agreements. This technology can be used to track the movement of funds and other assets, making it difficult for parties to cheat or to renege on their commitments. The Internet of Things and remote sensing can enhance monitoring of efforts, verifying compliance with agreements. These technologies can provide a wealth of data on activities that could be used to violate agreements, making it easier to detect and deter wrongdoing. Quantum computing can provide secure communication channels and advanced monitoring capabilities. This technology can be used to encrypt communications and to detect even the most subtle signs of cheating, making it more difficult for parties to break the rules. AI-powered algorithms can be helped to identify optimal agreements in complex negotiations. AI can be used to monitor and verify agreements and can assess migration in context of its genesis. It is an increasingly important issue. Open source geoimagery can provide geopolitical changes in real time. The use of emerging technologies in diplomacy is still in its early stages, but the potential benefits are vast. By embracing these technologies, good intended governments can create a more peaceful and just world. However, the emergence of new technology has brought about a range of challenges. As technology advances, the delegation of decision-making authority to algorithms may inadvertently perpetuate biases and inequalities that disproportionately affect marginalized communities. Digital platforms have opened a new avenue for citizens' engagement and participation, offering opportunities for direct communication with elected officials, online voting, and transparent governance. However, the complete digitalization of political processes also raises concerns about potential challenges and risks, particularly in countries with a history of democratic backsliding. Any global artificial intelligence must be firmly rooted in the protection of human rights to prevent the justification of increased political control over online populations. Working digital diplomacy opens the door to a world of opportunities, but it also lets us face a range of challenges and risks. Cybersecurity threats, proliferation of disinformation, and diplomatic mishaps in the digital sphere are critical issues. To effectively navigate these challenges, diplomats and governments must develop robust digital strategies and adopt effective legislation. In response to these challenges, the European Union adopted the General Data Protection Regulation in 2018, setting a global standard for data privacy. Building on this foundation, the EU proposed a new framework for regulating AI in 2021. It is a first of its kind, establishing a comprehensive set of guidelines for the development and use of AI technologies. However, let us embrace those technologies in order to control them. Thank you very much.
On behalf of everyone here, I extend a heartfelt thank you for your enlightening words. Now, I would extend a request to University of Karachi respected Vice Chancellor Dr. Khalid Mahmood Iraqi to kindly share his viewpoints with us all.
A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajeem. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. His Excellency, Mr. Wagner, the Consul General of Germany, the keynote speaker, Rashid Saab, if I pronounce correct, Dean Arts, Social Sciences, Dr. Shaista, the chairperson, the faculty members, and students. Assalamu alaikum ji. It is always difficult to be a last speaker when the expert like Rashid Saab, the Consul General, the Dean, who is expert in international relations, talk about South Asia. And being a Mammon se murad, I belong to a business community. I'm a student of business management. So South Asia, the former American President Bill Clinton said, the most dangerous place on the planet is South Asia. I trace in the context 3 nuclear powers in this region: China, India, Pakistan. Aap kahenge, why China? China with Road and Belt Initiative, with CPAC, its economic interest in the region, and countering America is actor in the context of South Asia. So we're talking about 3 nuclear powers: China, India, and Pakistan. And then we have border dispute. Pakistan, India, in the context of Kashmir. I have my friend from Bangladesh, the Consul General. Bangladesh with a regional dispute with India. We have other nations, they have their regional disputes as well. And then, Afghanistan, a very important factor in the context of South Asia. The emergence of Taliban and its terrorist activities in different parts of this region has posed a big question mark about the stability and the peace in South Asia. So these are the hard realities. But when I sit with people like expert international relations, the statement is there is immense potential in terms of economic growth and economic prosperity. So I am in a dilemma. What immense potentials we have. When I study South Asia, by and large, there is poverty, hunger, starvation, illiteracy, where very few people have access to pure and clean water, drinking water, right? So these are some of the pictures we have. Hunger, starvation, illiteracy, ill health, so on and so forth. And again, we are talking about immense potential. Peace, economic growth, and economic stability is not a guarantee without peace. Peace is prerequisite for economic growth and economic prosperity. अक्सर हम कहते हैं जी इंडिया से ट्रेड कर लो, ओ भाई कैसे होगा, कश्मीर का मसला तो वही है, रीजनल डिस्प्यूट्स वही हैं, आप ट्रेड कैसे कर लोगे? When you fail to resolve your outstanding issues. रशीद साहब ने rightly said कि जी हमने कहा कि जी आइए अफगानिस्तान के अंदर ऑयल रिकवरी कीजिए, दूसरी चीजें किए, and there was no peace in the region. We talk about Balochistan. It has a huge potential. But we failed to address the issue of Federation of Pakistan. जब तक आप Federation of Pakistan के issues को resolve नहीं करेंगे, you cannot tap potentials for economic growth and economic prosperity. पाकिस्तान के policy makers को मैं एक message देना चाहता हूँ. Believe in diversity. There is nothing wrong in diversity. Diversity is about beauty. हम पिछले 70-75 साल से we are using one dream, that is unity. Diversity is beauty. ठीक है जी? मुझे अगर सुबह आप रोजाना एक नाश्ता दें, I don't like it. You change the meal, you change the course. The God believe in diversity. एक फैमिली के अंदर मुख्तलिफ बच्चे होते हैं, मुख्तलिफ शक्लों के बच्चे होते हैं. एक मेल होता है, एक फीमेल होता है, एक शक्ल दूसरी होती है. So in the context of Pakistan, if you want to resolve the issues in Pakistan, believe in diversity. So let me focus about my main point. Peace is prerequisite for economic growth and economic prosperity. I live in a world, we live in an age which is about collaboration. It is no more about competition. ठीक है, जितने भी लोग हैं साउथ एशिया के अंदर लोग हैं, उन्होंने एक सबक सीखनी है. It's no more competition. It's about collaboration. It's about cooperation. It's about sharing. And I put European Union as an example for the policymakers in Pakistan. When the European nations, they used to compete with each other, there was a destruction, there was a war, there was a division. Once they framed European Union for economic cooperation, economic collaboration, you can see the European Union as an economic power, an economic, one of the major stakeholders in the context of global world. So there are examples. कि मैं किसी दूसरी दुनिया की बात नहीं कर रहा हूँ. It's about collaboration, it's about cooperation. Because अभी one of the speakers talk about digitalization, diplomacy. But, sir, you have to create an environment based on trust. When the trust deficit is there, whatever tools you have, it is not going to solve the problem of peace, right? So it may be a good example in the context of Europe, but I live in a world which is about the basic human problems. And why we need collaboration and cooperation? Because the global issues are different today. We talk about climate change, right? So you need collaboration, cooperation with the other world as well. What climate change is all about, how it is going. The global climate change is not going to affect only Pakistan. It is going to affect the globe globally, and it will affect regionally as well. So it's about collaboration and cooperation. And I think Rashid साहब की एक बात से मैंने एक take away है. Our policymakers sitting in Islamabad, they should use rationality, facts, in order to determine the foreign policy of Pakistan. Unfortunately, from the birth of Pakistan, we were pro-American. I'm not using the term pro-European or pro-West because the consul general is sitting there. So I'm using the word the pro-American. We became the member of CETO, CENTO, Western Defense Alliances, which were nothing to do with Pakistan. So we were pro-American from the very beginning. And therefore we failed to protect our economic interest. We failed to protect our economic interest when there was opportunity during the Cold War. We failed to avail our opportunity with Soviet disintegration. There was an opportunity with the 5 Central Asian Republics states. We failed. Why we failed? I think that was the deliberate on the part of the policymakers sitting in Islamabad, because of our tilt towards American interest. I am not expert in international relations, but when I was a student of political science, I studied. There are no permanent friends, there are no permanent enemies. It's about your national interest, Pakistan. And what is in the national interest of Pakistan? Resolve our outstanding issues with our neighbors. Learn something from the Chinese. Not the Chinese food, at least the Chinese diplomacy. They have their issues with India, but still they are cooperating, right? They are interested in Afghanistan. It has nothing to do with the religion. Why they're interested in Afghanistan? Because they want to expand the market. They want to expand their economy. So, the buzzword is about economy. I remember 20 years back, there was an American election. So in an American election, everyone was talking about nuclear bomb and different aspects. One of the slogan was, it's economy stupid. Economy is the factor which guarantee your economic progress and social well-being. Once you have economic progress and the social well-being, it's about peace and prosperity. So, I don't want to give advice to the policymakers sitting in America or the European Union or the Brussels. I totally agree, one of the speakers, that what we need is a voice. In terms of the European Union, the Brussels, the diplomatic corps, we should have designated people who can raise the issue of Pakistan and the people must have the correct understanding the context of Pakistan. So it's about raising your voice, and at the right forum, make one thing very clear. हम सही फोरम अडॉप्ट नहीं करते हैं अपनी बात करने के लिए. जिस तरह मेरा एक दोस्त है वो सही खाना चॉइस नहीं करता है. जब मैं उसको कहता हूँ चाइनीज़ खाना है तो मुझे निहारी इन ले जाते हैं. जब मैं कहता हूँ मुझे निहारी खाना है तो मुझे चाइनीज़ रेस्टोरेंट लेके जाते हैं. So it's about the right forum is important as well. So there is no doubt about it that we have the South Asia as a region has a potential, but you have to use your potential, you have to use your resources in order to make progress. So we should work with other nations, and economic growth and economic prosperity. We live in a world, it is about no more about the economic policy or the foreign policy. Foreign policy is not based on geo-strategic position. It's about geo-economics, right? Shift हो गया है हमारी policy के अंदर. It's about geo-economics. So economy is a major factor. Economy progress is about peace and prosperity, and you can make progress on the basis of sound foreign policy, based on realities. You have to accept India as a regional power. There is nothing wrong in it. But it's not that. You have to be very submissive. You have to work with your strength in order to come with at this stage where the Americans are. You have to be very clear with the Chinese people in terms of your CPEC program. The element of mistrust is there. So I live in a world which is about trust. And we can have trust on the basis of honest communication. With these words, I'm very thankful to the organizers for giving me this opportunity, and I must appreciate the Department of International Relations for taking this lead, the chairperson, and the faculty members and the students. Thank you, Ji. God bless you.